I'm going to go ahead and warn everyone that my shirt may or may not be a spoiler for this film. See, because it's got fusion. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And this is our post-Geekout reaction for Dragon Ball Super Broly, which I have been debating this for a while now. I'm wondering if you're supposed to say like Dragon Ball Super Broly or Dragon Ball Super Broly. Because I know that it is based on Dragon Ball Super. This is the film that's taking place after the most recent season of Dragon Ball Super, which, even though it was said to be the finale of Dragon Ball Super, I got a real stinking suspicion that they're coming back for even more after this, because this is like one of the highest grossing anime movies of all time, and the manga is even continuing after this point, so I was like, brother, you know you're coming back, you're just on break right now. But yeah, I know that's a spin-off of Dragon Ball Super, but I kind of feel like they want you to say it like it's all like one thing. Like it's supposed to be Super Broly in there, but I don't know, that's a whole other thing. So, this is the second anime movie we've ever reviewed on this channel. The first one was that My Hero Academia movie, and that actually did pretty well, and I have a suspicion this is going to do pretty well, because I've had so many people asking me to talk about this. I've had so many people asking, when are you going to review this? In fact, this is not the only Dragon Ball video we have going up this weekend. I discovered before we saw this movie that you actually didn't really know much about Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
You had seen some Dragon Ball, but it wasn't really your thing growing up. So we decided we were going to make a video where I tried to explain to you as quickly and succinctly as I possibly can the entire history of Dragon Ball, all in one sitting. I thought it was going to take 20 minutes. It took an hour and a half, so I'm still editing it together. It should be going up around the same time as this, so you can look for it here on the channel. And my first question to you is this. After that video that we made, were you lost at any point during this?
No.
Okay, good. My work is done. That was an hour and a half well spent then. Because if you said, yeah, there's something major that you didn't explain to me, I was like, oh, god damn it. But yeah, this film, it actually is decent to people who don't know that much about Dragon Ball. Because, like, as long as you know what Saiyans are, as long as you know, like, what Goku is and what Frieza is, that's really all you have to know going into this. As long as you're also willing to roll with the punches. Yeah. Because, like, I had someone on Twitter asking me, hey, I haven't seen Dragon Ball since Dragon Ball Z. I haven't seen any of Dragon Ball Super. Do I need to watch Super before I watch this? And my answer to them was, as long as you watch the two movies that they made, the Battle of the Gods and also Resurrection of F, where Frieza comes back and they introduce Super Saiyan Blue, then yeah, you'll know everything you need to know. You don't really need to know about, like, the Tournament of Power. It helps, but it's not necessary. As long as you know about that stuff, you're fine. But honestly, if you watched all Dragon Ball Z, you're kind of at that point where you're like, oh, they have different power levels and they achieve new stuff. So when all of a sudden Goku's hair goes blue, as long as you can just roll with it and be like, guess that's a new thing, then you're fine. You'll be okay. And I gotta say, as a Dragon Ball fan, I actually really enjoy this. Now, like with the My Hero Academia movie, I honestly think that even if you don't know My Hero Academia, I think you could still enjoy that pretty much on its own. You get a whole other level of entertainment out of it if you do know what that is. But I think that you could still enjoy that My Hero movie all by itself. With this one, you just have to be a Dragon Ball fan. You just have to know these characters, and you just have to go, I just want to see characters fight for a total hour. Because people always joke about how Dragon Ball is just people screaming at each other. In fact, even when I asked you, do you know what Dragon Ball is? Like, well, I know it's, you know, people like powering up and going Super Saiyan and screaming for an hour. I said, well, yeah, basically. And then we watched this and it's literally an hour of people screaming and powering up and going Super Saiyan in this. Like, this is honestly stunning to me that this feels like they just sat down and they just said, we know what our audience wants. They just want a big-ass fight. But we are going to give you some depth. We're going to give you some emotions. We're going to give you some backstory. We're going to give you some character development. And it really feels like they gave you all that right at the front of this movie. The front of this movie is like the story of how Planet Vegeta, the planet of all the Saiyans, was destroyed by Frieza, and it gives you a little bit more backstory about why he decided to destroy that planet, but also it gives you a little bit more like backstory on Prince Vegeta himself and King Vegeta and like why they got sent off planet, and it gives you a little bit more backstory on Goku, on Kakarot, which I actually really enjoy that, because so far all we had gotten of Goku's family was they made a special just about Bardock. And in this one, you get a little bit more on Bardock in there, but you also, for the first time ever, meet his mom. Mm-hmm. We mentioned this when we did the video where I told you the entire history of Dragon Ball. I said, listen, Akira Toriyama has admitted it himself. He doesn't know how to write female characters. It feels like with like Dragon Ball Super and everything he's been doing since then, it feels like he's been trying to make up for that. Yeah. It feels like he's realized, oh, okay, I've kind of screwed the pooch on this one a couple too many times. Like, I just can't do that. So now, like, in this movie, we actually see, like, oh, Goku had a mom. A mom with, like, some depth. And she actually had a job. She was working there, like, cutting up meats at, like, a butcher's shop or something. Like, she had, like, a career in there. And, oh, okay, she actually cared about Goku. And she actually, like, was sad to see him go. It's like, okay, we actually see, like, the relationship between them. That's actually kind of nice in here. He's done a lot of other stuff in Super that I really enjoy. Like Android 18 actually got some nice moments to shine, and they had like the big tournament of power, and he got introduced to actually a ton of really cool female characters in there. So yeah, it feels like he's actually like going, okay, this was a blind spot in my writing. I'm trying to fix that. It's like, all right, good for you. And there's actually a great new female character in this one, Chile. Yeah. But we will get to her in a second. So it gives you like the backstory on like how Planet Vegeta was destroyed, but it's also revealed, hey, there was another baby who got sent off planet, and it was this baby who had a power level unlike anything they had ever seen before. And because King Vegeta was like, no one can be better than my kid. No one at all. So we're going to send him off to another planet, just like we do with all our babies. The babies go down this planet, they see full moon, they destroy everything. It turns out that the planet he sent him to was this like desolate wasteland where nothing could possibly survive.
And like there are giant monsters there.
There's everything wants to eat you on that planet. Like there's literally not even water on this planet. Mm-hmm. Like this guy has had to survive on this planet for decades just off of blood. Mm-hmm. Like, Broly grew up on this planet with just him and his father around, because his father, after he found out about this, he hijacked a ship, just flew off there to find him, and there's like some other Saiyan who got stranded there with him.
Yeah, like he was supposed to be in charge of the pod originally.
Of the ship,
yeah. The ship, yeah.
And he just got hijacked along with it. And you see that as soon as they crash land, he's just like, wait, King Vegeta did that? Man, I never even liked King Vegeta. Trust me, I am on your side, man. It's gonna be okay. But how cold Broly's dad is.
I think his name was Paragus. Because asparagus.
Oh,
because vegetables.
They're all named after vegetables. Yeah, which I've never figured out what Bardock is supposed to be a vegetable of.
Bok choy? No way.
I have no
Brussels?
idea.
No.
Maybe I don't know.
Who's what is Broly supposed to be named?
I think broccoli.
Oh, okay.
If I had to take a guess.
Okay. Hey, Peach.
Hey, it's the tiny one. So they go and they land there, and you know instantly how bad Paragus is, because this guy is even like, listen, man, I'm on your side. Trust me, I'm on your team. But our ship's busted. He's like, well, here's one way to save food. Blam! He kills this guy who had already like gone, I'm totally on your side. I'm totally with you, Chief. I'm with you right there. Okay, so yeah, we instantly know what kind of guy Paragus is gonna be. So when we run into them like 40 years later, they have just been living on this planet by themselves, and this cold-hearted bastard has been raising this kid who is the strongest Saiyan in the world, and he's hooked him up with like a shock collar to keep him from like getting too powerful.
Yeah, and it's like he even like cut off his tail because every time he like transformed, he was just like way too out of control. He just was like, he's going to kill me. Yes. He's going to kill me and everything else on this planet. So yeah, he had to cut off his tail. And so he's already got this tough bastard of a father as the only other human being he has any interaction with. It's like he was...
But he's also being raised on a planet where, like I said, there's no water. If you want just to survive, you have to go and murder a giant death bug out there. This is what he was raised on since he was a child. And you can see, like, he is just, like, this confused kid. Like, even as a grown-ass man, he, like, is a caveman.
Yeah, like... Mentally, his growth has been stunted.
Very much so. Like, he kind of even talks like cavemanish because he never got to interact with anyone other than his father.
Except his dad, yeah.
And you can tell his dad was the kind of like, shut up, boy, speak when spoken to kind of like guy. It's like, wow, that and no one else for 40 goddamn years. It's going to, like, really hinder your mental growth. But Frieza is rebuilding his army, and his army is searching out there for anyone they can find, and they run across Broly, and it's like, holy cow, his power levels are through the roof. Man, we are going to get such a reward when we bring this guy in.
Yeah, like basically, like there were two aliens we were talking about. Like one of them was
Chile.
Yeah, Chile, and I forget the other guy's name.
I forget the other guy's name too. But I actually love both of them.
Yeah,
and like I said, so many of the villains in Dragon Ball rarely had any depth to them. Like Vegeta had a ton of depth to him. But after that, like, Frieza was, I'm evil because I'm evil and I hate those stupid monkeys. That's it. And Cell was, I'm evil because I have part of Frieza inside of me, so I really hate those stupid monkeys. And then Boo was evil because he's literally the embodiment of evil. It's like, okay, yeah, there's really not a lot of depth to any of the villains in here, but honestly, I never had a problem with it in Dragon Ball because it's like, yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's fun to just have the big bad guy that you fight in there. But this is another thing that feels like he's trying to, like, correct in here. Because not only does Broly now have a ton of backstory and a ton of depth and a ton of explanation to who he is, but we get these two characters in here, and it's not like you ever delve into their backstory, but you get little bits of it in here. Like Chile, she mentions that she was like some kind of a criminal and she like stole a police cruiser, and now it's either join up with Freezer or go back to jail. And it's like, okay, well that's some kind of a backstory, and also lets us know like, you're more of like a rapscallion. Like, you're more of like a troublemaker. You're not exactly evil.
No.
And there's another moment in which the old guy, he sees like Paragus like just being a complete dick to Broly, and he's like, man, I thought my old man was bad. And it's like, even that little bit in there is like, wow, depth. That is like actually like, that is an actual dimension and kind of backstory to your character. And it makes us actually come to really like them, and their interactions with Broly are so good. Because you see like, Frieza is going to use Broly as a tool. Paragus just treats him like he's a constant threat that could kill them all. No one has ever tried to be a friend to him, and you eventually discover, like, he's got this dirty, filthy, green rag just tied around his waist. And you find out, like, that came from an animal he actually kind of liked on the planet. Like, they actually were kind of friends. It was actually kind of the only friend he ever had. And it was like his pet. And then his dad was just like, that's making you soft, boy. And then he shoots off the animal's ear so that the animal would leave and never interact with him again. So he just took the fur from its ear and just made it this waistcoat. It's like, oh my God, you just gave more depth to Broly's, like, stupid belt than you gave to so many other characters in all Dragon Ball Z. This is impressive. I'm really appreciating what you're doing with this character. But then they crash land down on Earth, and Frieza wants the Dragon Balls. And the reason why Frieza wants the Dragon Balls is such a good joke.
Yes, and
it is hilarious, and it's a callback to a joke that happened 5 minutes earlier, and it's brilliant how it just like mirrors this other conversation that happened in there. I will not spoil that one for anybody out there because it is like a legitimately good joke.
Yeah, like this is like definitely like one of the more serious like Dragon Ball movies, but so like there aren't too many like jokes.
Well, now this is something that I gotta bring up. This is actually a lot of people out there, and this is like a big thing that's like split down the Dragon Ball community. But I come down firmly on the pro side of this. A lot of the Dragon Ball Z fans did not like Dragon Ball Super. I freaking love Dragon Ball Super. I will admit there is like a filler arc in the middle of it that I just didn't care about at all. Like there is a giant chunk in the middle of Dragon Ball Super that I had no interest in, which I think is the reason why they're taking a giant break right now. I mean, people talk about how like, oh, that was the end of the series. They definitely said that was the end. It's like, dude, this movie is about to make bank and the manga's still going. They're coming back. It's totally going to come back. But there's two main reasons why I really enjoyed Dragon Ball Super. One of them is I do feel like there was more depth to a lot of the characters. They actually did get a little bit more serious. Like, not the heroes necessarily, which is a problem that a lot of people bring up. That's like, characters like Gohan and Piccolo and Vegeta, they kind of just stopped progressing at Dragon Ball Z. So I understand that, but I think a lot of the villains actually did have depth. They actually had decent motivation. They were actually a lot more interesting than the villains in Dragon Ball Z. But the other reason is because Akira Toriyama, he started off as a gag writer. He wanted to make gag mangas. He was never really into this whole like kung fu thing, but it was his editors who said, you gotta add in like all the kung fu action. Keep amping that up. Focus more on the action. And I feel like with Dragon Ball Super, it's the balance in there. Dragon Ball Super, it's 50% action, 50% a gag manga. And it just feels more genuine to me. Like, it feels more like this is kind of what Akira Toriyama just wants to do. Like, I think this is more in line with what his vision is. Mm-hmm. And while I will admit Goku has become way dumber in Dragon Ball Super because of that, I think that a lot of the gags actually really freaking work in Dragon Ball Super. And there's no exception to that in this movie. There's another thing that Frieza does in here that it's supposed to be like a despicable, low-down, dirty thing. Mm-hmm. But Frieza's reaction to doing it is so goddamn funny. Like, that entire audience was cracking up in there. It's like, I can't believe that they actually, like, had something that cold happen right there during this really intense moment, and yet we're still all chuckling about it. Because, yeah, man, this movie actually really succeeds at that. And honestly, I think, like, a lot of the comedic elements that they have added that have stuck around have really worked. Like, Beerus. Beerus is in this for a little bit. Yeah. Whis is in it for a little bit as well. I freaking love Beerus and Whis. Beerus and Whis are some of my favorite characters in the entire history of this. And again, it's because I think that they perfectly, like, balance that comedy and action, like, which is what I feel like Akira Toriyama always wanted this to be. But let's get into, like, the actual main attraction. Mm-hmm. When Broly touches down, he goes out there and he starts fighting. And as soon as that starts, that's the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And we have joked about how Dragon Ball, it's just people screaming and fighting and it's nothing but big fight scenes. But the fight scenes will be broken up into segments. And they will, like, stop every now and again to give you that breather in there. There is no breather in this. It is literally an hour of fighting in this. It might not even be an hour. It might be like 40 minutes. But it is like the moment that fight starts, like, hit your timer and see how long that goes, because that's the rest of the movie. And part of me is really impressed with that. Yeah. Because Broly is supposed to be the biggest, baddest Saiyan that has ever existed. Hey man, you want to show that off? Have him just beat the crap out of someone nonstop for the rest of this movie. But I do have to be honest with you guys, even though it feels like if you ask Dragon Ball audiences, what do you want to see? They would say, I just want a big-ass fight scene, which that's definitely what our audience wanted in this.
Yes.
Then, man, real quick, I will just say, that audience, I have said many times before, anime movie audiences are the loudest audiences you will ever come across, but that's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah.
I hated the people sitting right behind us because they insisted on just talking the entire time. But the rest of the audience, like, just cheering at everything.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
like,
fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that's what is so fun about going to the theaters to see anime movies, is like, the audience, like, really hypes you up.
The audience is not going to be there casually.
No.
The audience of an anime movie is there because they love this goddamn anime. They looked for ticket times, reserved that thing months in advance. They have been waiting for this day. So, yeah, it is an experience to go there. And you could tell that's what this theater audience wanted. But I also kind of feel like they're kind of the stereotypical Dragon Ball audience because
yeah, kind of, but I can't
because there is heart in this movie. There is depth in this movie. There is actual character development here. And I heard many people on our way out like, man, they should have done this thing. And they're like, who even cares about that? It's like me, the person who wants story. I cared about that.
I don't know. I heard some people like get a good chuckle, and like some of them went awe or gasp during.
You know what? There are those people. I'm not trying. Yes. I should not paint all of them with that big brush because there were the people out there who gave us like the moments in there. But I mean, like I heard somebody on the way out of there say like, "Man, Broly used to be better because he wasn't just a big pussy like he is in this film." And I was like, "Fuck you, he was not." Broly used to be just a big, dumb walking tank who all he could say was, Kakarot, and he just punched things really hard. Here, goddamn, man, he is stronger and more threatening than ever, and you actually kind of care about him in here. Yeah, I'll go into a little bit more of the spoiler stuff about, like, the problems I have with particular people in our audience, mainly the people sitting behind us when we get to the spoiler part of this review. But for now, yeah, man, this feels like they made this movie just for the people out there who just wanted like an hour-long action scene. But I gotta admit, that's kind of a problem for me with this film. Because when it gets towards the end of this, when it should be the biggest, most epic moments, I started kind of almost getting bored with this. Not so much bored, but I started getting numb to it because I had no moment to breathe. Like, it's just nonstop for an hour in here. And eventually it does get to that point where I'm like, in which I was just like, I gotta tap out, man. I need to just relax for a second. Like, typically in a Dragon Ball fight, even when the fight goes on for a long time, they will then still cut to the other characters like, well, what do you think about this thing? Well, Goku has now gone to this level, and this could mean this thing over here. Or then they'll cut to like some supporting B-class characters over here doing their own weird thing that has nothing to do with any of this, but they put it in there just to like give you that breathing moment. So then you can get hyped up all over again. Yeah. And there is none of that in here.
Well, there kind of was, but it only lasted for like 2 seconds, and then like went right back to like, 10 minutes of fighting or something?
Yes. But I'm thinking about, before we watched this, I showed you the Battle of the Gods movie, so you get like a little bit of an understanding of what's going on. And you got the big fight scene between Beerus and Goku at the end of this. And that goes on for like maybe 8 minutes, so, you know, not even like a fifth the length of this one. But still, like, in the middle of that fight, when it's getting really dramatic, Whis suddenly pops up, and it's just like, what is this delicious thing that you call? It's ice cream. Is it hard to make? And it's like, yeah, you just cut in there with a little bit of that. And Bulma is there with Vegeta and Goku for this fight. Bulma and Whis are there. And there is a moment, like, after they've been fighting for like 45 minutes, that then it cuts to Bulma and Whis. And I was like, I forgot you guys were here. I totally did. And I could have, I would have enjoyed cutting to them for like a split second in there. Even if it was just to give us like Whis, like giving us a little bit of like, oh yes, I've heard something about this. This could truly be like the legendary Super Saiyan. Like some kind of an explanation of like why Broly is so much stronger than all the other Saiyans. So I could have, like, just something like that would have helped, like, to give me a little bit more breathing room. But they do occasionally cut over to Chile and the other guy in there. They do occasionally cut back to Frieza talking to Paragus about this. So it's, you know, they get a little something. It's not just pure punching each other, but I could have used, like, just a little bit more of a break in here just for, like, a breathing. That being said, the combat in here is amazing. This is the best animated Dragon Ball thing I have ever seen. This is one of those things where I want to go back when this comes out and just go frame by frame on some of this animation. Because they are just zooming all around the Arctic, and they are like throwing blasts at each other so big, it's like turning the Arctic into like a volcano.
Yeah, like literally they like get punched into the ground. Like I think maybe even the center of the earth or something.
They get punched so far into the ground that they go into like the molten core of the earth, and the guys sitting behind us went, "They in hell now?" And I was like,
and sure, then, so not? Like basically like when they pop back up, of course
all the lava just spews everywhere. And it's like, God, this is like an apocalyptic fight. And Broly,
like Saiyans are responsible for climate change and the ice caps melting.
That's what this really is. Capsule Corp can fix all that. Bulma's responsible. Bulma knows what she's doing. Bulma's got this under control. Yeah, man, when you can, like, shove, like, every single polluting device into a tiny capsule, it's like, yeah, pollution's gotta take care of itself. But, like, there's, like, no moment to go, like, oh my god, Broly is charging up his ultimate attack now, everyone, and then, like, a couple minutes of, oh, just, like, make the audience go, okay, what's gonna happen now? Like, they will pop right out of the ground, and then Broly will just throw his hands up, and then boom, like a planet buster size attack just forms there. Like, if you've seen the trailers, you saw that one attack that Broly creates in here, where it's just like a massive spinning green orb. I thought that was gonna be the end of the fight. Like, I thought that was gonna be the big dramatic, like, he takes time to charge it up, throws that down, Goku's like, no, I can't push it back enough, and then everybody else has to join in there to help him push it back. No, man, that is like a split second of this entire fight. Like, they go down on the ground, come back out, throw that down, oh god, get out of the way, everything's blowing up, punching each other again. But they get really creative with this fight as well in here. Like, there is a moment in here in which the fight just starts coming from Broly's point of view. Like, you see Goku firing blasts at him, and then the camera shows, like, just spinning around the blast, and it took me a second and went, are we, like, is the camera now Broly? And then it gets real close to Goku, and then you see a fist come out, like, from the camera and punch Goku, and I was like, that's actually brilliant, and I've never seen them do something like that in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, there's, like, another scene during the fight where it's, like, were they like warp speed or something? Because like the background.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. We'll get into that because that's at the end of this.
Yeah.
And that was, okay, like I said, towards the end of this, I started getting a little bit numb, and there's a big epic moment in here that I should have been like, okay, well that's, that should have been the thing that I was applauding, but instead by that point, I needed such a breather that I was kind of numb to it. That was the moment that got me back into this. I was like, okay, I don't even know what's happening now. All right, cool, fine, I'm with you. But yeah, this thing, and it takes its time ramping up, because that's one of the cool things about Broly, is that the whole thing about the Saiyans is that they get stronger with each fight. But because Broly is the legendary Super Saiyan, that means that he is supposed to be the perfect embodiment. He's not a normal Super Saiyan, he's supposed to be like the perfect embodiment of Saiyans. Like, so he gets stronger with each punch.
Like, that makes me wonder, is like, if he's supposed to be the legendary Super Saiyan, why doesn't he have like blonde hair or...
well, he does later on.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, yeah.
He hasn't attained it yet.
Yeah.
Which, that's one thing that I also like about this, is that in the beginning of this, you find out that Frieza blew up the planet because they were concerned about the legends about the legendary Super Saiyan, which that was always kind of like part of it, like, oh, one day a Saiyan is prophesized to take down Frieza. But when you meet Paragus, the guy who's the dad of the legendary Super Saiyan, he's like, that's just a story. That's not a real thing. And Frieza's like, wait, is your son the only Saiyan I know who can't go Super Saiyan? That's going to be a problem. So they are just going at it in this battle. And again, Broly isn't even going Super Saiyan in this. And like Vegeta is going like Super Saiyan God in here, which, by the way, you want to talk about audiences going nuts? You've never seen Vegeta go Super Saiyan God. He always was just Super Saiyan Blue. He like trained to be Super Saiyan Blue, and of course to hit that you have to go past Super Saiyan God, but as soon as he obtained Super Saiyan Blue, he was like, I don't need to go Super Saiyan God, I'm just gonna go straight to it. But this movie, it takes its time, like amping up, slowly going from point A to point B in here. So yeah, like Vegeta is fine him as normal, then go Super Saiyan. Then he has to go Super Saiyan God. When he goes Super Saiyan God, our audience was just flipping their mind because it's the first time you ever saw it, and the guy behind us was just screaming out, "Since when? Since when?" And I was like, brother, do I need to pull up the chart and like show you like that's how the progression happens? And all right, fine, whatever in here, whatever. But yeah, I love seeing our audience's reaction to that. But again, even in these battles, you get so much about these characters' personalities, because Goku goes in there next after Vegeta to fight him, and I love that even though Vegeta was at Super Saiyan God, Goku is fighting this guy in his base form to begin with, because that's the kind of guy that Goku is. He's like, you're still in your base form, so I'm going to fight you in my base form because I want this to be an even fight and I want to challenge myself. Like, you can tell Goku's the kind of guy just from that's like, it would be unfair if I fought you as a Super Saiyan when you're not a Super Saiyan. Like, that's actually speaks so much to him, and it's just this little tiny detail about this fight. But I also love the way that Goku is animated as he fights. Because Goku was trained to be the greatest martial artist in anime history. However, his version of martial arts is flying and punching really fast. He actually fights like a martial artist.
Yes, I've noticed. I know some of those stances were like kung fu.
He does a lot of those stances. He even does like a warm up where he's like bouncing around, like getting himself loosened up, and just him bouncing around to get loosened up. The animation on that is so fluid and so good. But when Broly is coming in, you actually see him like doing like the hand grab and flip on him, like basic kung fu stuff on him, and it's like, I have not seen you do that since Dragon Ball. Not even Dragon Ball Z, since Dragon Ball. We have not seen you do stuff like this in forever. And you're doing it in the biggest battle you've ever had. It speaks so much to his character, and I freaking love that they did that.
Like, another thing about like Goku is like during the fight, he like looks at Broly as like, you don't want to fight.
He does this weird like freeze move on where he contains him.
Yeah, and it's like, you don't want to fight, do you? You're doing this because your dad forced you to. You gotta learn to like do your own thing and not listen to other people.
And again, it speaks so much to Goku.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy that Goku is. Like, Goku can learn things about people just from fighting them. And he's able to kind of like Goku cares about people. Like, Goku wants to fight the strongest guy out there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to, like, fight the strongest guy out there because the strongest guy out there is being forced to fight him. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to actually, like, go up against him, like, because it's fun. He thinks that fighting is, like, a fun thing to do. Not, like, something to be, like, torture, like, to be done out of rage. And, yeah, it speaks so much to him in that moment. But like I said, watching Broly throughout this fight is so impressive as well. Because, yeah, like I said, Saiyans get stronger with each battle. Broly is literally learning as he fights. Broly has only fought his dad and big monsters. He doesn't know how to fight like other people with different fighting styles. But because he's like the perfect Saiyan, he's literally learning how to fight them as this battle goes along. And my favorite moment in all that is when Goku does this like freeze thing. He just contains Broly within this energy wave. Broly then starts just getting madder and madder. And then the energy wave changes from red to his color green. And then he, like, contains Goku in it. Mm-hmm. Like, he learns how to do this master energy manipulation thing that probably took Goku years to learn in a matter of seconds. And it lets you know in that instant how much of a threat this guy is. I love that moment in there. But speaking of another moment that I love, and speaking of how this movie was just here to please the Dragon Ball fans, there was probably the most flipped out that our audience got was Goku. He powers up from Super Saiyan God to Super Saiyan Blue. And as he is powering up, there is like, it's like 4 frames. Like, it's not even a full second in there. His hair goes white in that moment. And our audience was about to pick up their chairs and throw them.
If they could, like, I don't know, but...
I feel so bad for whoever has to clean up that theater. Because you know there were popcorn buckets just being flipped over in that moment. Someone just, out of celebration, took an entire box of, like, Junior Mints, just drinking soda so that they could do spit takes all over the place. Which they didn't have him go Ultra Instinct in here, but they knew that the audience knew what that was, which there is an explanation for it in Dragon Ball Super. They said that Ultra Instinct, it's not really a thing that you can learn. It's kind of just a thing that happens when your body is put to a certain level of stress and physical and emotional pressure. And, you know, the more times you have it happen to you, the harder it is to bring it out again. So it's like, yeah, you literally already fought like gods with that power. It's not gonna come back out for anytime soon. But the fact that they put in there, like, for like just a split second, his hair turning silver, we were like, what? Which I almost flipped out too, because I was like, I know that they fused at the end of this because they spoiled that in the trailer, which I don't know why you would spoil that in the trailer. That's something that Dragon Ball fans have been looking forward to for years now. Why would you tell us that's going to happen here? You know, like, it's Dragon Ball, it's Broly, you already got our money. You don't need to spoil that to convince us to come in here. But if they reveal, like, oh yeah, that's not the big spoiler in this, the spoiler is that he's going to go Ultra Instinct in this, I would have lost my mind. But I'm kind of glad they did, because, like, alright, you can save that for, like, another time here. Like, if Goku can now just start pulling out Ultra Instinct whenever he wants, he's too strong. So, yeah, I really enjoyed pretty much how this fight, like, even though it is a long-ass fight, it still took its time. So it's not just, like, the most powerful things of all time. It's like, no, the power levels actually progress throughout this, so that it actually feels like the big thing that's happening towards the end of this is not equivalent to the stuff happening at the early part of the fight. Like, that's been another problem of mine with Dragon Ball, is that this person keeps getting more powerful and more powerful and more powerful, and it's like, well, you know, this guy has the power to blow up a planet right now, but Frieza could blow up a planet with one finger, like, long ago. So it feels like once we get to that point, and now we're like 10 times more powerful than Frieza ever was, it's like, okay, well, how strong are you guys gonna get? Like, none of this really means anything.
Yeah, it's like, at a certain point, it's like, you're so powerful that it's, like, kind of meaningless.
Exactly. That has always been kind of another problem of mine with Dragon Ball. But in this one, it doesn't have that problem, despite the fact that these guys are more powerful than anything we've ever seen, because the actual action in the fight, it takes its time, like, ramping up. It takes its time building up to being bigger and bigger stuff. Like, the progression of this fight is actually genius. If you want to study how to do a long, drawn-out fight, this is actually a great example of it. However, I would warn people out there, never try and reproduce this, because there is no other film out there where people would be willing to sit for an hour-long fight. Dragon Ball is the only thing you can do that with, and really, you can only pull that out with something like Broly. Like, that's the only excuse to bring something like this out again. So yeah, for me, I would give this an 8.5 if we had gotten, like, even just, like, 1 or 2 more, like, cutaway moments. It would have made the fight even fresher for me, and I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Also, I would have enjoyed seeing, like, maybe a few other characters here, because typically in Dragon Ball movies, they'll bring in everybody for at least a cameo. This one, it is Goku, it is Vegeta, it is Broly, Frieza, that is it. Bulma's there in the beginning, Whis and Beerus are there in the beginning, Paragus is there throughout, but yeah, man, that is kind of it. But it's not just the combat in here, it's also the like backstory and everything that they give in the beginning. It's that Broly actually, you can tell this guy is tormented. You actually care about Broly in here.
Yeah.
That is so weird to say. That you actually care about Broly in here. And you're actually like, no, okay, I want you to beat Broly because he's a big monster, but no, don't beat Broly. He's not a big monster. It's actually really genius how much depth that they were able to give this guy and how much they made you care about this guy who was always like the biggest monster in Dragon Ball history. I thought it was great. And again, as we said, the two new characters, Chile and the old guy that she's with, they're great. They are such good additions to this franchise. But again, I'm speaking as a longtime Dragon Ball fan. You, somebody who like just got the crash course in Dragon Ball 2 days ago. What do you think of this?
I guess maybe 7 or 7.5.
Okay. That's actually, I mean, for a person.
Yeah, I mean, like, I did enjoy it, but I felt like if I was like a diehard Dragon Ball fan, I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah, but even then, like, I'd be willing to say that anybody could watch this and still, like, feel for Broly.
Yeah.
Still like Chile and their interaction. Like, Chile and Broly's interactions are, like, the heart of this goddamn film.
Yeah, I guess I kind of wish there was more of it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I wish that there had been some more moments between them. Because the moments that we get with them are really damn good. Also, let me see. Also, like I said, I do kind of wish that we just gotten like some more of the characters in there. But I think another reason why you might enjoy this thing is because you are a big animation nut. And yeah, man, the animation in this is gorgeous. Like, I can't lie. This is like the best looking Dragon Ball stuff I've ever seen. So yeah, 8.5 for me, 7.5 for you. But of course, again, like, longtime Dragon Ball fan, never really got into Dragon Ball. But still, you were able to enjoy it. Yes. And that's good.
Spoiler time?
Let's go to the spoiler time on this. I mentioned some of my favorite moments in here. Like, one of my favorite moments is when Goku just freezes him to talk to him. And then, not Bardock, Broly is able to overtake that. That's my favorite moment that I can spoil. Probably my favorite moment in this entire thing is when Vegeta is down and out, Goku is beat up, Broly has now gone Super Saiyan, because Frieza, man, that is such a good callback. And it speaks so much to Frieza. It speaks so much to who Frieza is, that Frieza was like, oh, so this is really his limit. He can't fight any stronger than this? Paragus, oh, I'm afraid not. No, this Super Saiyan Blue mode is going to beat up my son, who can't go Super Saiyan. I think I know a thing or two about making people go Super Saiyan, and like it flashes back to when he blew up Krillin, and that forced him. It's like, let's put something to the test. Blam! Kills his father. Ahem. Broly, oh no! A stray blast killed your father! It's all his fault!
Yeah.
The level of overacting on Frieza's part in here is great. Also, can we mention, like, I saw someone online say that this was like Frieza's nanny. Like, must have like raised him from birth. And I can only assume that has to be correct. Because there's this brand new character they introduced called, like, Berry Blue.
Blueberry? Something?
It's Berry Blue, because Blueberry, I will remember more. But, yeah, it's because I remember, like, that sounds like a soda. It's like Berry Blue is what it is. And which is an appropriate name because it's this little round blue thing with a pink wig. And that thing shit talks Frieza. And so when I saw people online saying it was Frieza's nanny, I was like, it's gotta be.
Yeah, like,
it has to be like the person who's like, I changed your diapers when you were a kid, alright? Listen, don't you come shit talking to me. Yes, Berry Blue.
And it's like, and like she's the only one who like can get away with talking shit about him without getting destroyed.
When she says to Frieza, because for anybody who wants to know, the wish that Frieza wants to make is they want to be 5 centimeters taller because they're tired of hearing people say that they're short behind his back. And that's a great gag because Bulma wanted to get the Dragon Balls to wish to look 5 years younger. And it's like, well, why not 10 years younger? Because then everybody would be talking. Everybody would find it too suspicious. Everybody would be saying this behind my back. And then like one of Frieza's generals goes, why not just be 10 centimeters taller? Because then everybody would notice and everyone would be talking about my back. I know how all of you are. It's like, that's such a good joke. But yeah, Berry Blue is like, I'm not telling you what my wish is going to be. I know what it is. You want to be taller. Yes, okay, you're right. And it's like, you can tell they have some kind of backstory to each other. And I love that like without having to explain it, you get all that from that. I think that is such a good interaction. But yeah, that's the thing that forces Broly to go Super Saiyan when he sees his dad is killed. And he just starts going ballistic, just starts screaming louder than ever, which, Man, I am no fan of Vic Mignogna. I think he was great as, was it Edward or Alphonse?
Edward.
Edward. I think he was great as Edward Elric, but I've never really been the biggest fan of him, and also like his behavior at cons in the past. Maybe he's changed his ways, but I remember when I was coming up as an anime nerd, he was like the guy that's like, make sure you stay away from him. Make sure like he's just trouble. Just do not go over to him. However, I will say, I gotta give him props. That dude screamed for an hour straight. Broly has no lines of dialogue once the fight begins other than, ah! Man, R.I.P. that guy's voice. Like, I feel bad for his voice for having to go all in on that. I will say, though, I think they should have recast him. Because the reason they brought him back is because he played Broly in the original incarnation. Because in the original incarnation, all he had to do was go, Kakarot, and he's actually pretty good at that. He can actually do the gruff Kakarot voice. Here he actually has to give Broly, like, some depth. And when Broly's just talking normal, you've got Edward Elric's voice coming out. Yeah, you've got a way too high-pitched voice coming out of that. Like, Vic Mignogna, he can do a really gruff voice for a single yell. For a single, like, gruff, Kakarot. He can't do it as, like, regular dialogue when you're supposed to feel sympathetic for this guy. So, yeah, I wish they had just recast him. Also, this is a weird thing that I should have brought up during the regular part of this. I think the sound mixing on this is actually not very good. That was another problem I had. Because the background music often would drown out the actual voices. And I had a problem with that in this. It's not all the time, but there's sometimes before the actual fighting begins where they're just having casual conversations. I was like, what? What? Speak up. Then again, also, part of that was our audience. There are entire lines of dialogue that I missed in here, like whole sentences that I missed, because our audience was either laughing or cheering through it. But yeah, after Broly ends up going Super Saiyan, he's just beating the crap out of Goku, and then Goku and Vegeta, they have to team up. Goku does the Kamehameha, Vegeta does the Gallic gun. It's this big, like, zooming in camera thing, twisting around them as they're doing it. And one of my problems with Dragon Ball Battle of the Gods is that they just tried to get CGI in there. And I was like, this isn't...
Yeah, it never really looked
It didn't look all that good. This is the only time in this that they go CGI. Aside from, like, a big energy blast. Yeah. The energy blast you can make look CGI. That's fine with me. But when they zoom in and zip around them, that's when they actually become 3D CGI models. Didn't look too bad. Didn't look too bad, mostly because it was really quick. I would prefer it was still the 2D animation, but it actually looked okay to me.
Yeah, like when it comes to like 3D models, it's always easier to like do it with like basic like backgrounds.
Yes, backgrounds.
Special effects. If you try to do like a 3D model of like a character, it really looks mechanical.
It did, yes. But this looked better than it did in Battle of the Gods. Because there's that one moment when Beerus charges at Goku, and it looked like a PS2 graphic thing right now. I was like, how the heck does this look worse than you have it look in Dragon Ball FighterZ, like the game that just came out? But in this one, that's the only real shot you get of that. And it actually looked okay to me. Like, it zipped around them fast enough.
Although, granted, like, when did Battle of the Gods come out?
It came out 2014. So
yeah, so it's like there's definitely, like, some technological advances since
this
then.
This is all true.
So.
Yes, that is absolutely true. So, after that, Broly just charges right through their ultimate attack, beats the crap out of them. Vegeta is down and out. And Goku's plan, he has to escape, so he's pulling Vegeta behind him, and he just like pops up, hi Frieza, and blasts past him, and then Broly just comes up like the freaking colossal titan over the bridge, just pops up there, and I love that he just started wailing on Frieza.
Like he's lost all control, so he's just gonna beat the crap out of whoever happens to be in front of him.
He is the Hulk at that point.
Yes.
And I've always said, the Hulk will smash whatever you point him at. Goku just pointed at Frieza and said, smash. He just, like, popped in there and popped out, and I thought that was brilliant, that moment. And it's so cathartic, too, because he has to instant transmission away to talk to Piccolo, which I love that even though Piccolo, he's my favorite character in the whole franchise, I love that even though he is no match for the crazy god-level powers that they have in Dragon Ball Super, he's kind of been dropped off. He's still the wise old guru character. Yeah. So they still go to him for advice. So we had to go to him to teach Vegeta fusion. And in fusion, it lasts for half an hour. And I love it. They screw up the first time, screw up the second time, and Piccolo each time goes, try again in half an hour. And then it will cut back to Frieza getting the crap kicked out of him. I just love the thought that Frieza got the crap kicked out of him for an hour straight.
Just maybe even more, like who knows?
For an hour, just being a punching bag Like, it's cathartic for two reasons. One, it's because Frieza's this bastard who caused all this, and he's the one who actually killed, like, Broly's dad. So it's like, all right, man, yeah, you kind of have this coming to you. But it's also cathartic because if longtime Dragon Ball fans know, if you get into a fight with Frieza, time just stops. Because it's like, it'll be over in 5 minutes. 9 hours later, an hour passes in 2 minutes in this thing. I was like, that kind of feels like you just made up for all that time in the past. This kind of feels like, okay, time actually can move quickly in this universe. So yeah, I freaking love that whole segment of Frieza just getting the crap kicked out of him. But then they come back, they form into Gogeta, or yes, okay.
Yeah.
Vegito is when they have the earrings on, when they do the dance, is Gogeta. This is very confusing for anybody who's never seen it. Listen, I understand how confusing all this shit is. But then they come back and they start fighting him and they go Super Saiyan Blue in there. And I keep talking about how, like, I have a problem that they just keep getting more and more powerful and doesn't seem to ever mean anything. But this fight has had such a good progression of how much stronger they've gotten. But I was like, man, this is going to probably be it. Because how much stronger can you really get from what we've seen? They punch each other and you see time and space shatter. Mm-hmm. And they're shocked by it too. Like, you see Gogeta look around and they're just surrounded by a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And he goes, what the heck is this? And like, we have never seen anything like that. It's like, you actually managed to show me a new level of power we've never seen. That feels appropriate for how strong these guys are right now. Like, I love that moment.
It's like, I know they're saying, like, I'll knock you into next Tuesday. It's like, oh crap, maybe they literally did that. He knocked him
out of time. Like, like, I expected to see, like, all the alternate realities that they saw in, like, the Tournament Power, like, popping up in the background, like they were destroying the dimensions with how much they were punching each other, which would have been a real nice touch in here. I kind of, like, that's one thing that I wish we had seen. There is that moment at the beginning of this when she goes, yeah, the Tournament of Power really opened my eye to the next level of power that I can reach out there. And then you see, like, real quick glimpses of all the fires. I wish we had actually seen, like, some of the actual combat from that. Because it's not like,
more like a montage.
More like a montage, because it's not like they would have reused clips. Mm-hmm. They would have had to reanimate all that stuff. I would have loved to have seen some of those fights, like, reanimate, even for a couple frames, with, like, how good the animation is in here. I just want Kale and Cauliflower to be really well animated. That's all I want. Jiren, you got some good animation. Everybody else could use a little work. But yeah, they're actually fighting this. And I love that they keep even amping it up from there. Because Broly, like, he screams even louder and his shirt rips off and then his hair gets even spikier. Like, you just had this brother go Super Saiyan 2. He just learned Super Saiyan 5 minutes ago. And he's already at Super Saiyan 2? And again, that's a great way to make it go like, okay, this won't be too easy. Because they're so strong now. Yeah, of course they could take him out. Wait, he's now Super Saiyan 2. Okay, how much further can this go? Like, is he going to go Super Saiyan 3? What the heck is even going to happen in all this? Which, there was some guy walking out of there, which I keep talking about how, like, the Dragon Ball fans, I don't mean to, like, cause any shit here, but, like, there are some Dragon Ball fans who they just hold on to some shit for too long. That happens in any fandom. That happens in any fandom. There was one guy walking out who was like, there was that moment which I was like, oh man, is Broly going to go Super Saiyan 4? I wish he had gone Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 was this thing from Dragon Ball GT. No one likes Dragon Ball GT. We don't want that coming back. It's done. It is gone, brother. So when I heard that guy in line, I was just like, did you honestly just like say you want Dragon? What? No, you saw that when you were 5, man. It's not good. It's not. But yeah, at the end of all this, Broly is finally getting defeated. And Gogeta is about to wipe him out. And then Chile and the old man, they steal the Dragon Balls. And they summon the dragon, and their wish is to save Broly and send him back to his home planet. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there were a couple people in the audience who were like, oh, but there were a couple people and there was like, oh, come on.
There's and then there's
Yeah, like those dudes behind us. Fuck those dudes behind us. Those dudes behind us, like, sucked.
Yeah.
The dude sitting behind us, it was like, oh, man, oh, come on, we don't get to see him get killed. I was like, fuck you, this is such a better ending.
No, like, even like I mentioned before, Goku said, like, Broly is not a bad guy, he's just confused.
Watching Broly getting killed at the end of this would be like watching, like, a stray dog get put down. Like,
yeah.
Come on, man, I know you got rabies and you're out of control, but man, don't turn this into Old Yeller. But yeah, they kill him, and then they fly, and then Chile and the other guy fly off.
They transport him.
Yeah, they teleport him away back to his home planet, and then Chile and the old guy fly off, And they go and join him there. And I love that they're now just living on the planet, but then Goku pops up at the end of this, just instant transmissions to him, and like, hey, I'm Goku, I just wanted to talk to you. And like, they're on high guard, but it's like, no, I brought you this little capsule core thing. It's a house. It's full of fresh water, fresh food. Here's all this other food that I brought you. Here's all this other stuff that you can use. And Goku just wants to be his friend.
Yeah.
I was like, this is such a better ending.
Yes, that's what Goku would have done. Yes. He would not have wanted to, like, kill Broly, I don't think.
No, not at all. Like, that was the Vegeta side of him talking. That was the, we got no other chance in this. Yeah, I love that that's how it ends. And the last line in here is perfect. Because it pays back, like, tribute to, like, the Saiyans who came before them. And it's like, nah, man, it's like, this is my Saiyan name. It's like, listen, they call me Goku, but you can call me Kakarot. So it does pay tribute to, like, where they came from, the home that they came from. It's like, there aren't many Saiyans left. We are kind of like brothers in that way. Yeah, it's like,
we gotta stick together. It wouldn't be right if I just killed you off. Besides, I want to train with you,
That's the other thing about Goku. Goku is the guy who will... Every villain that Goku has fought, he's turned into his friend, except for Frieza. And even Frieza helped him save the universe during the Tournament of Power. So it's like, even that guy got you something.
Vegeta's like tsundere, like, I should...
Man, I almost want to show you the final episode of Dragon Ball Super when, like, Frieza and Goku have to fight Jiren together. Because there was a moment in that fight where Krillin goes, Frieza and Goku are fighting together! And you see them, like, actually punching Jiren. And then it cuts to Vegeta just... like, his eye is twitching. And, like, the two people I hate most in the world are fighting to save my life. It's the best. It's my favorite Vegeta moment of all time. But yeah, it's like, but it's really good because it does, like, give so much more depth to, like, their Saiyan legacy in there. But also, it's a great callback because, as I said, literally the only thing that old Broly could say was, Kakarot. Someone goes, you can call me Kakarot. It's like, I see what you did there. Oh, I get you. I get what's going on here. Like, it's a perfect last line on two levels. You know what, fuck it, I'm giving this a 9. I'm bumping up to a 9.
Okay,
like,
then.
I wish that there had been, like, those little cutaways, like getting something of, like, Whis. Like, it didn't even have to be, like, a humorous thing. Like, it's not like we had to cut a peel off or something, like, brainstorming how he was going to take over the capsule core. I was like, none of us care about that. But, you know, like, maybe when they, like, shatter all of reality, like, cut to the other characters around the planet, like, what the heck is going on right now? Like, something like that. Or, like, cut to Whis, and Whis is like, yes, I believe I heard something about this. Or cut to Beerus. Like, at the end of this, Beerus wakes up from a nap, which I love that Beerus has to babysit during this. Beerus wakes up from a nap, and he just goes, nah, I guess everything worked out okay then. I love this idea that Beerus was like, I know that the ultimate destructive power is coming here. I'm the god of destruction. I can tell these things. I trust you guys on this. Like, I love that this was kind of all according to Beerus' plan. Like, I love that Beerus goes from being really goofy, just cartoon, like, I just want to eat, I just want to sleep, that's all I care about, to being like, no, actually, I am incredibly wise and I'm incredibly dignified, and you should respect me because of that. I love how they can go back and forth with that. But I wish we had gotten, like, something of, like, Whis talking about this, or, like, Beerus talking about this. But I will say, this is another moment that the audience flipped out of. It's kind of like the pre-flash of white in Goku's hair. It's something that's only here for a second, but the audience lost their mind at. Whis, all we know about Whis is he is even stronger than Beerus. And Beerus is the strongest thing in the universe. And Whis is stronger than him. But the only thing we've ever seen of him doing action was in Battle of the Gods when he comes in and goes, that's enough, pop, you're out. Takes out Beerus in one hit. I love that after Frieza gets taken out, it then cuts to Whis fighting Broly, and it's just Broly taking swings at him, and Whis is just jumping around, dodging him. But the audience lost it because that's the most we've seen Whis do. And it also kind of hypes up Whis even more for coming up storylines. It's like, this guy is just dodging this ultimate plant buster punches like they're nothing. Just like, whatever. I kind of wish we had gotten, like, a little bit of something in there, though. Like, it wasn't just that. Like, I kind of wish that, like, maybe after Broly takes out Frieza, he just, like, looks over and sees Bulma over there. Because you can tell Whis could teleport out there. He's just there to save Bulma. He's there because he's like, okay, well, I'll distract him for now so that he doesn't attack you. But I wish we had gotten someone like, he charges at Bulma and then Whis steps in. Like, just give Whis, like, a little bit more of a badass moment. Just a little bit more of a badass moment in there. But yeah, there's so much in here that I really enjoyed. My only real complaint is that the fight goes on for so long, I need a breather in the middle of all that. But yeah, I really freaking love this thing. I'd say Battle of the Gods is still my favorite Dragon Ball film, but this is a hard number 2. Don't take that out of context. This is a strong second place. I really enjoyed this. Battle of the Gods, I think it just does, like, spicing up, like, the fights a little bit more, like, pacing them out a little bit more. I like all the different character interactions because there are more characters in there. I felt like that one was even more of, like, a celebration of the history of Dragon Ball. But this one, yeah, real close second place. It might... You've only seen 2 of the movies, so I can't ask where it ranks for you. Did you like this more or worse than Battle of the Gods?
I liked Battle of the Gods more because, like, there was, like, more, like, story-wise.
Yeah. There is story in here. It's just all crammed into the beginning of it.
Yeah.
But the fighting is great. The animation is great in there. And I do enjoy how they, like, pace the fight out. And I really enjoy the character moments in the fight. I think the character moments speak so much to all the people involved in this. But yeah, this is great. I really honestly can't wait for this to come out so that I can just go and like just watch those fights like in slow-mo, just frame by frame by frame, because it's so well animated. And if you guys have not seen this movie yet, then sorry for spoiling it here at the end, but that's what we do in the post-Geekout reaction. Go on there and see it, man. It's probably playing... This, honestly, like, people are saying this might be the #1 movie at the box office this weekend. I know that at our theaters, they already added more showtimes. Like, on day 1, they were adding more showtimes. They were taking theaters over from other things and adding it to this. So, I'm wondering how well Glass is going to do this weekend. Because this was the better movie, I can honestly say that. But yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in. The giant hour-and-a-half long video I did explain the entire history of Dragon Ball Her should be going up around the same time as this video, so if it's up by now, I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. If not, then come back later today and it'll be up then. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.